How's it going, everyone? Take two. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. I said that at the beginning of my stream before people got on, and we're just gonna do AAU as a backup because that has never been a problem for me, thankfully. So let me just pick a game that I haven't done yet. Could do Baba. This could be a good one. We back. That's right. But yeah, I'm just gonna find an AAU game. But yeah, Furphy, Daniels, Sulepa, really interesting trio. Um, I haven't watched Austin Goodsby. I could watch Drive Nation. I know he's put out good numbers in UIPL. I love watching Brad Beal. Should watch Brad Beal. I love watching Brad Beal. But I've kind of watched them too much, honestly. So maybe I should watch something different. Thoughts on Miles Turner? I don't want to think about it. I'm not happy about it. I mean, like, it's fine. He is declining, and that probably wouldn't have been a good contract by the end of the contract, but it still just sucks that it had to be Milwaukee, you know? Like, that's just such a bummer that it had to be the Bucks of all teams. Like, yeah, no, it's unfortunate. There's no other way. I mean, I wish they could have re-signed him, but I also don't think it's like insane, and they probably weren't going to be particularly good anyway next year. Thoughts on Nunez? I never thought of Nunez as a particularly high level NBA prospect. So I don't know when he's going to come over. I always kind of felt that he was like his scoring wasn't really good enough to be NBA level, but his passing is great. And like, I just don't know if he's is he with the Spurs still? Is Nunez still Spurs? Okay, there you go. But yeah, I don't know if Nunez is still Spurs. Let me just edit the title here. Jackson Richardson. I th- I don't think it's necessarily about Hallie. I just think like I just think it's about like the ceiling of the Pacers offense, not just for Halliburton, like for everyone else. Having a stretch big is just so beneficial. So I think it's just that as well. Second. All right, let's get into it. What did any free agency hot? I posted my 2026 board on Twitter a couple days ago. You could find that. Free agency hot takes. I mean, I don't really know how hot the hot takes are going to be. Like, I'm over the moon about the Cornet site signing for the Spurs. Like, I think that's just a knocked out of the park home run. He's going to be so good. I'm writing an article about the Spurs offseason and the kind of direction that they're going in. So I'm really happy with Cornet on the Spurs. I think that's be awesome. I like Lakers save me from Aiton. I'm very excited for Topic. I have decently high expectations. I mean, I guess like hard to really know with the injuries, but like he was a really good prospect, I think, and I think before his injury he was playing phenomenal basketball. So I have some trust in him to get back to that level. But no, I'm excited to watch Topic. That's going to be good. I hope he just has a great game or has a series of good games, I guess. Good websites to write articles. Honestly, just like I always tell people just like make a Medium or a Substack and just like go. Like that's I don't know. Like that like Substack wasn't really a thing when I was coming up. like 7, 8 years ago or whenever. Like I think that's awesome. Like there's someone honestly just like yeah, just Substack Medium and just do work and put yourself out there. Like you can always reach out to like FanSideds and SB Nations and like whoever. And you know, if you want to like chase a specific outlet, like a team outlet or something, you can go for it. But definitely, yeah, I'd say just like do what you want, and just if you do good work, I think you'll eventually get somewhere. But yeah, I love Caden Daunt. I love Caden Daughtry. I don't think it's. I don't know if this is playing in this game, but I do love Caden Daughtry. But Jackson Richardson is interesting. WordPress is usually just like a back end for other websites, I think. I don't really know how that would work, but like anything that could, get it out there. But I like the moves the Pistons have made, especially if like a Malik Monk thing is still maybe on the table. That would be quite nice. I like that. That would be a nice thing that they could do. But anyways, I think Duncan and Karras were both great signings. So I think those guys the Pistons have done well. I don't know. I don't know if I have any like free agency hot takes. Like I don't know. I feel like not that much has really happened to have hot takes on, I guess. Is kind of another thing. Like stops Purdue. I mean, Purdue could win it all next year. I mean, when you have one of like the very few best players in college basketball, I'm not going to count you out. They definitely could. Peterson by a country mile over Ant at the same age. People who have not watched Anthony Edwards in college or high school, like I would very highly recommend finding like full games from him from like high school. I think there's probably like an IMG game on there, or like any Georgia games, just for like how different he looked and how like interesting it was. Top 5 passers in the NBA or in college or draft or what. But yeah, Anthony Edwards tape pre NBA, even like early NBA is crazy. Versus now. Quaintance or Sinak. I like Quaintance better by a good bit. I think his defense is much more proven. Like Sinak has tools. Like we saw Quaintance be awesome on defense in the Big 12 as a freshman. And Quaintance, yeah, I mean you assume Quaintance, like he's super young and he has had a long time, and ACL surgeries often don't have super long-term complications. So I think he's going to be okay. I mean, again, obviously if he gets injured, that would suck and that changes things. But operating under the assumption that like he'll be at full health, I think he's really good. And I definitely have my concerns about his offense, and like I'm not ready to like stamp him as a top 5 pick, no doubt about it, lock it in. But I will probably have him in my top 5 to start the cycle, just because he is so impressive on defense. Like it's crazy. I feel like the main things people like about Sinak are just like the ball skills and like the fluidity at his size. Like he definitely is like fairly explosive. I'm a bit lower on him just because I think the feel is kind of worrying. But he is very explosive, which is just impressive. Like when he wants to be, he can be so powerful and like impose himself physically. But offensively, I just think like the decision making, the ball, like the handle in traffic, the shooting consistency, like yeah. No problem, Joe. I I did like I did like how do I define feel for honestly Sinak? Like I could see a world where Sinak like isn't really even playing that much, right? Like Kelvin Sampson doesn't always play freshman, and he's raw. Like it wouldn't shock me if he didn't play much. How do I truly define feel? I'm gonna link an article. This is my answer. It's one of the best pieces of basketball literature recently written. But to me, the main components of feel are like awareness, just kind of having a sense of what's going on all the time around you. Processing speed was just like how quickly you think you make decisions, right? Like how quickly you can, because like awareness is right. You need to be aware and diagnose what's happening. Processing speed is like how quickly can I get to that point of awareness where I know everything that's going on. And then obviously there's like the how can I act on that, right? Like punishing. And that's like the pattern recognition part of it. But that's kind of the very, very quick pitch. But yeah, I think of it mostly as like, understanding of positioning and awareness and the kind of like court mapping stuff, but we're old boy basketball literature. Which prospect had the best feel recently? I mean, I think it starts with Cooper. There was actually, I'll link another really good YouTube video by a YouTuber named Daniel Lee, who mostly does NBA stuff, but he did a Cooper Flag video that I really liked. I'd obviously recommend you check out my Cooper Flag video. But Cooper is just like one of the most Cooper and Con Knipple. I saw someone asked what separates Knipple from Grady or Dalton. And I think the main thing is that like Knipple is a brilliant passer, processor, high field player, and those guys just weren't to the same extent. I mean, Grady was good, but he just wasn't nearly as good of a scorer and a driver as Knipple. And Dalton was just way older than both of those guys, which is kind of disqualifying. But yeah, definitely read the field piece. It's great, and it informs a lot of. I mean, it informs and like lines up with a lot of what a lot of the ways that I kind of view basketball and analyze things on my channel. But yeah, it's a great piece. I would highly recommend. But Mikkel or Acuff, definitely Mikkel. Yeah, Braden does too. I mean, also you can just like there's not a one-to-one correlation between feel and passing, but like most of the brilliant high-level passers and pick and roll players are high field players. It's not always like there are players like DeJounte Murray who are like high, who put up assists and are like high productive pick and roll players. So I don't think are high feel, but yeah, Mikkel's been so awesome. I mean, he's great. I think Mikkel is like a level or two above Acuff. Acuff is just like more of a multi-year, like kind of smaller scoring playmaking guard. Mikkel is a little bigger. His shooting might even be better. His passing is so awesome. Yeah, I think Mikkel. I take over Acuff. Who's Cam Boozer? I saw the J. Kyle Man comp of like a Gen Z Kevin Love. I think is a pretty good Cam Boozer like play style comparison. If you just kind of like modernize that, like if you were to modernize like Wolves Kevin Love, with just like the passing and like the scoring from everywhere and the rebounding, obviously. So I like that overall. That one makes sense. It's hard. Yeah, I think feel is hard to improve. And I think guys can be good in spite of it. Like I think a Whitmore could be good in spite of it just because he's a crazy driver and he's going to be able to shoot, and I think his defense is going to be good. So like it's really hard to be a star with like below average feel, in my opinion. But it's not hard, but like it's doable to be a good player. And I think you can get to I think the NBA is pretty solid at developing a player's like baseline of feel. Like I think of Jaylen Brown as like a great example, who's never going to be like a high feel, quick processor in like the traditional sense, but is plenty good enough, like because of how great of a scorer and a shot maker he is. Where like Jaylen Brown can be a top 20-ish player without needing to be high feel, right? Like there are paths, but it's harder. And you're threading a tight needle, I think. I probably would have taken Topic. Bam's touch was so rough this year. Şengün's touch was rough this year. Touches, yeah. Bam's was so brutal this year. There might be someone worse who wasn't as good, but good evening, Morgan. There might be something yeah, there might be something otherwise, but yep, Sarah Strong is a great one. I have a video on Sarah Strong that I did after the final four, and she is one of the most brilliant players. Like she is so good. She's so awesome. She's gonna be incredible. I mean, she's more than just like I feel like she's good in so many ways. That girl is gonna be incredible, absolutely incredible. Driving is yeah, I think flexibility and change of speed are the other really important things. Like flexibility helps you actually use your strength and speed and like get into a position to do it, and then change of the direction lets you like actually beat defenders. I think Topic and Fears I'd kind of rate similarly, but have them both a tier above Jace is where I land on that one. But no, I rate Topic pretty highly. I think he's going to be good if he is okay health wise. Like obviously, if the lower body injuries just kind of make it look like he's less explosive, then he's probably not going to be very good. I think Şengün's efficiency is also hurt by his shot selection. Like if he just took more normal shots, I think he would be so much more efficient. But I don't know. They also need him to shoot, but there's like I'm not saying, but like there's like a kind of a myth I think about Topic that he can't attack the rim. That was like his main thing. He was a godly tier driver in Mega. Like he was. Let me pull up highlights. Honestly, he was like an unbelievable driver. Like that was his thing. And he also finished like 67% around 67% or something at the rim despite not having any dunks. Like I think the driving is like his main thing, honestly, that makes him really special. Is Debansa going to get same concerns this year as Miller and Ace? I mean, I think people will say it, but it's going to be wrong. Like he's kind of like them because he's like a tall shot maker, but he's just such a different level of athlete than both of those guys. Like both Miller and Ace. Yeah, the Rockets offense was weird this year. Both Miller and Ace, like their athleticism and like easy space creation is an issue, whereas Debansa is like the best wing advantage creator I've ever seen. It's totally insane. But yeah, no. I'll throw in some old Topic film, honestly. I am a fan of the Topic film. But can throw in some old Topic. But yeah, no, I really like Topic's driving. Actually, I just want highlights. But can Jarris play the 5? I don't think so, honestly, which I wish he could, but Yeah, the Adriatic competition's not the greatest. It's like okay, I guess. It's not worse than like mid-major competition, I don't think. And Topic was like so dominant, and the fact that he did it against like the youth sample obviously is nice-ish. I definitely don't think he's going to be like a 68%. I mean, his finishing's obviously going to regress to some extent, but I do think it's going to be very good. Like, it's going to be great, I think, for like a non. Yaxel is going to be interesting. Sorber, I think, has Wendell Carter Jr. particles. I think the Lakers are going to switch more with Ayton, and they're going to probably be better using him. But I also think part of it is an Ayton problem, unfortunately. Swain with league average shooting would be a lottery pick, probably, or like approaching a lottery pick. That would be awesome. He's on my list to rewatch. He's decently high on my list to rewatch as well. I liked Castleton pre-draft. I thought he could be a pretty solid rotation big. I feel like Castleton has been like kind of okay in the reps that he's been given. Like he's nothing crazy, but I just think he has like enough mobility and skill to like sometimes hang. Like his defense was pretty solid this year, and the little bit he played with like Toronto, what was like Toronto and Philly for a second. I was overjoyed when the Pacers took Cam Jones. That was one of my favorite shot. That was one of my favorites, and I had never heard of Talon Peter, but he is sick. His stats are cool, and I support that. Murray Boyles would probably be third for me in the draft if he had a legit 3. It's favorite point forward prospect ever? Good question. I have a video. From a couple years ago on my YouTube channel that I made about prospect Lamar Odom. He was unbelievable. And that's honestly the first name that comes to my mind. He was the 7-foot point guard in 2000. It was the coolest thing ever. You should absolutely go watch it. That's the most like as of recent ones. I really like I loved prospect Giddy. He hasn't improved like I hoped he would, but he was an awesome prospect. I mean, like Amen kind of as well. I liked AJ Johnson. I did not understand the Bucks process of picking him and then trading him. But yeah, I mean, look, you can see here, like Topic, this defender is backing like 5 feet off of Topic, and he's still able to cleanly win to the rim because his first step is sick and he's got great touch and he can hang and finish. I would take Quaintance over Quaintance and Queen's similar to me, but I'd probably take him over CMB and Malawash, but also just so hard to know because he was so young this year and there's so much projecting and development. I did not see that tweet, no. Generational hater, if you want to be the first person to post a compilation of lowlights of prospects, I would watch that. I mean, that's why I really like the Cash Iggy cut-ups, just because he has all of the non-box score. I mean, all of like the missed shots and stuff, but also like non-box score lowlights as well, which is really great. Yeah, the mega jerseys are just a crazy thing. But yeah, Topic was, oh man, I missed. I mean, Topic just had so much going for him, like young, highly productive, efficient, like usage creator in a pro league, athletic, good touch, great passer, passable shooting indicators. It's just the defense that's the biggest thing for me. That I worry about with Topic. Like Topic, if I could see Topic like failing because he's just like not, he misses some. he like is he bleeds some offensive value going. Oh, what a spin! He bleeds some offensive value, and he's just like horrible on defense. That's my issue. But my fourth guy next year in next draft is Ament, but I think Quaintance has a chance to be that for me. I think Phylon, honestly, I'm that high on. But it's probably one of those guys. Most accurate prediction. I'm very happy about Kaysen's development. I loved Kaysen. I'm so happy he's the player he is. The Troy Weaver quotes, yeah, the quotes on like the Hawks story were absolutely hilarious. It was incredible stuff. The idea of like Salah and the rest of the Hawks guys just like cracking up like children. But I love Sturts, but I struggle to see the vision with him as a real top 5 guy just because of I don't think he's that level of creator or athlete, even though I think he's good. And then just like what level of shooter he is. But I like him, and I definitely have Sturts in my lottery. I was going, I am not him. Dumars has been. I don't know what they thought they were getting into pairing up Dumars and Troy Weaver in New Orleans. I really don't. I feel bad for those players. A rookie, a low light. You're crazy hating. I guess there's some guy on Twitter who's like I can't think of his name. He's some like older person who like one of his things like he's been around and he just like thinks Wemby's a scrub and it's the best bit ever. It's so funny. But like Wemby's not actually good on defense because he jumps at the ball and I'm just like yeah, sure, okay. Yeah, it seems like Weaver. Yeah, college basketball scouting is awesome. Do I think there's any scoot over Wemby believers? If there are, I mean, if there ever were, and especially if there are now, I would ask them to seek extreme help. Beautiful spin move by Topic. Whew. What's up, Adversity? How's it going? Yeah, Khashoggi is so wonderful. I so appreciate their work. It is easily the best, like probably the best film related thing that's ever happened to the public draft space. It's incredible. But look at this. Like the change of direction in tight space is so good. Like he's fast, but he can just like cut through a crease and obviously defense of the rim there was terrible. I think Laravia was quite good last year, and I think he's going to be good in LA. So I would say I feel like he's definitely panning out for. I think he was X. There's this like Grizzlies fans have this weird vendetta about Jake Laravia that I just like don't understand when he was clearly good for them. Damn, yeah, the scoot over Wemby will that'll probably. I mean, I think you can sometimes that archetype, but I think Wemby's just like the best prospect ever. Yeah, Laravia was interested in going to the Pistons too. I thought that would have been a really great signing. Good pass. I'd rather score against the. I've seen people talk about turnover economy, and I don't use that word. I assume they're just talking about like the value and like the of creating and limiting turnovers, but I don't know. NBA Twitter nerd vocabulary, maybe. What was there? There was some tweet. There was some tweet that was. I'll link Khashoggi's channel. There was some tweet that was like some guy was like, a player's ability to get into, to force rotations and to compromise help defenders and force second rotation, and the quote tweet was like white people can't just say drive and kick. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel about NBA Twitter, or at least some sects of it. A Jazz looking for hope after disaster. Cody Williams pick. I saw some freeway was me. I saw some the free wave crash out on draft night was honestly just the most unbelievable thing ever. I felt for all the Nets fans. Yes, that's good. I like Ace. I honestly think, assuming Ace is like content and is gonna try his hardest, which I want to assume he will. I think Utah's a great fit. And someone asked about sleeper rookie of the year. Sleeper rookie of the year, Walter Clayton Jr., low key. Could see. I mean, it's gonna be Cooper, but like Queen could. It's just gonna be weird. I dislike Dean because he's an odd person who's done and said and espoused a lot of problematic beliefs and ideas that are beyond basketball. It is, yeah. Thero's awesome. I'm bummed he's not going to be at Summer League, but whatever. Klingon or Malawash is close to me. I think Malawash has a higher ceiling, but I think Klingon is safer. I was honestly kind of low on Bub Carrington this season. Like, he definitely had some like was an impressive guy in a lot of ways. Like, the pull-up shooting was cool. I'm just a little lower on like the actual impact of it and how it kind of translates in a couple years, where I just like worry a lot about how he actually like scores efficiently and just like how good of an off-ball shooter he's going to be. And the defense was rough, but like I think I find myself being a little lower on all of these Wizards guys, just because I think the minutes and the usage can definitely like inflate their perception. He's interesting. I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely interested to kind of dive into him in the summer. I like Trey Johnson. I like Alex Sarr. I was having a crazy party, my neighbor. Darren is like one of the best the best high school guard prospect I've ever seen. He's literally good at everything. It is unbelievable. He's just like a special driver, advantage creator, shooter, passer, defender. It's crazy. Queen and Zion, I don't know. It's gonna be weird. Yeah, we were talking about Steinbach earlier. He's really good. I haven't watched enough Mayer to know, so I don't have an opinion on that yet. But yeah, I know Steinbach kind of has like some real like fans. I'm not there yet, but I can see the vision. I'm just not convinced enough of his like perimeter game and like what he does on defense, but his interior scoring is crazy. I posted a 2026 big board like a week ago. I'll find it and link it quickly. It's missing a lot of players and it's very early, but I could do a video. I mean, I probably won't until later. I probably wouldn't do a 2026. Yeah, I think Topic is just like not a good vertical athlete, which definitely is somewhat concerning. I mean, he's a great horizontal athlete. Like he's so fucking fast and his balance is great and he can change directions. I need to watch more Kareem Lopez. I watched the college basketball scouting highlight video of Kareem Lopez. I'll actually pull it up now, and I was super moved by it. But I need to actually he's high on my list of probably after FIBA guys who I need to go back and watch more like full games of. But he is so sick. I love Kareem Lopez. I'm gonna switch to that. Reeve is good. I like Reeve a lot. I'm a little worried about Reeve's passing. I I'm not crazy about Reeve's playmaking, and he's just like not that crazy of an athlete or defender, but like his size and skill and touch are truly crazy. But yeah, I watch especially hate the Pacers. I am a big this like I said, I need to actually watch full games of Kareem Lopez before I have like a strong enough opinion. Well, like the last time I watched a full Lopez game was like over a year ago. So, but the highlights and the stats and the clips I've seen move me strongly. Yeah, I just love the flexibility. Oh my goodness. I mean, he's not like the most but he's so big and long and can dip his shoulder and can get up and dunk the ball. Like, what if he's literally open? Topping at 35 is wild. I don't like small bigs. I can't do small bigs. I've been burned by too many small bigs. I like Toppin, and I could definitely see him being higher than that after like a bunch of guys pull out of the draft. Like, one of the guys who just like up there because a bunch of players I like didn't end up, preseason. Um, has Koa? Not yet. I mean, he's great in FIBA, but again, I just like don't trust the FIBA context. But I'm gonna do a Koa rewatch like before the season, and we'll update my opinion on him. I don't think people are seriously making the. I don't think Fleming and Naz Reid have much of anything in common, to be perfectly honest. But I like Fleming. I don't think people are seriously making the Jokic Hanson Yank comps. I think it's just kind of a meme, and people are just like, he's a good passer and he's tall and he's Jokic. Like I don't think people are. Crop is good. I'm not super moved by Crop as like an NBA prospect, but he is definitely good. He's a good player, and I could see him being quite good in college if he chooses that route. I'm a Love Island fan. I'm not, but I get all the TikToks. Man, Lopez is like his combination of age, strength, and physical development, and like the skill and the feel and like the touch he has is really impressive. Like he's cool to watch. I think Lopez seems like a very good athlete, but yeah, hard to tell from a highlight tape sometimes, just because so much of evaluating that's so sick. So much of evaluating athleticism is like the limitations of someone's athleticism, right? Like what their athleticism doesn't let them do. Sex Survivor. I mean, they film it in similar places. They film it very close to each other. So I think Boozer's a tier ahead of Paolo as a prospect. Definitely Boozer. Definitely Boozer. Have any watched any Wilt Chamberlain games? I've watched Ben Taylor videos on Wilt Chamberlain. That's about it. I'm so curious about all three of Houston's freshmen because I think the variance for all three of them in terms of like their play this year and their draft range is so big. I could see all three of Harwell, Flemings, and Sinak, like any combination of them impacting the game and getting draft buzz or going back to school. God, like the behind the back into the bump Euro is the decel is nasty. Morgan, I'd say that's the consensus opinion, and it's a consensus opinion that I agree with, and that I've been saying for quite some time. Um, but yeah, Lopez seems quite interesting. I'm intrigued. I'm certainly intrigued by Kareem Lopez. But yeah, 2026 draft is awesome. I saw someone ask about Mikel Brown. Um, Mikel is like such a good shooter, like shooting plus passing bet, where he's like not the most explosive athlete or like 2 point scorer, which is probably the main worry that people have. But he's an unbelievable shooter, and his passing is sick. He's such a good decision maker while having like high level passing vision. He's definitely a lottery guy for me. Meyer, Team Zach. Those are not real people. Whew. I mean, again, see, like it's just an open lane, and he got screened off, and he has like a runway. But like, this looks cool, man. He definitely passes just like the cool test. Certainly passes the cool test. Both hand touch too, like plays off of 2 feet, touch with his left hand, like just seems really good. Like I said, I'll do like a stat deep dive, and I'll probably do a video on Kareem Lopez at some point, honestly, over Tuhi, who is my guy. I love Tuhi. Just the like, I wonder if his hands are really big. There's probably like a basketball without. There's probably Kareem Lopez. There's probably like a basketball. Yes, I agree. Recent. I'll say I think it's perfectly reasonable, and I have Peterson and Boozer over Debansa. I don't think anybody in this draft, aside from those two, come even close. Pate signed with the Knicks, I believe. I think he's going to play summer league with the Knicks. Whew. Oh my goodness, he's so sick. It would be cool to have a really good Mexican player in the league. Absolutely. Yeah, it would be awesome. That would be so cool. I love that. His passing seems like fine. I don't think he just like does much of it, or like his passing volume's not crazy. Good live dribble lay down. But yeah, I think Lopez seems like he's going to be really good. I'm very excited to watch him and to watch Dash in the MBL this year. Yeah, I think that Dink hype was always a little kind of, I like he's a classic one where I think like his highlights kind of oversell him at this point. Like once I actually sat down to watch games, like you realize how far away he is in terms of just like needing development. Dash is not a good offensive player. I don't project Dash as an. I also I've seen this. I've seen a lot of Dash hate on the timeline, and it's because recency bias and people are watching. Um, he is 17 playing U19s, and he doesn't need to be an initiator to be a good player. I think Dash is honestly probably a similar level to Dyson. Like his hands are legit special. And the way that he can move, I think Dash is a really high level defensive prospect. And then his offense, like it's not good, but his touch is great, and I think his feel is solid. And there are things to bet on for like a 17-year-old 6'6" guy who is that kind of defender. Again, I don't think people are giving him nearly enough. Oh yeah, I believe Jaime is Mexican. I think so. Southern California, LA area legend. Jaime Jaquez, Camarillo High legend. 1964 finals. That's epic. Good block. No, Australians don't like to dribble. Like they're all of the Australian guys can't dribble except for Furphy. Jacob Furphy's the only one who can dribble. All of the other Australian prospects can never dribble. I don't know why. Like that must just be like, I don't know. They just like don't prioritize that or something because none of them can dribble. I love watching Bob Cousy as a prospect. I really wish Jaime was better than he was because he's just like one of my personal favorite players over the last like 5 or so years. But yeah, I was really low on him as a prospect, and Heat fans were very upset with how I talked about that pick. And after his rookie season, it looked like I was going to be very wrong. But after a second season, the tide turned back towards what I thought was going to happen. Yeah, Siulepa is like a rugby player hooper in the most complimentary possible. Like his power and strength are crazy. His touch and skill might just been like too far away, but he's awesome. He's so much fun. He's really fun to watch. I like that whole Australia. Like Luke Fennell is fun as well. Like a little like shot making guard. But cool. I think I'm gonna end this stream off. Synac video, possibly later in the summer when I go through all of the. But yeah, of course. Thanks everyone for hanging out on the stream. As always, Will stop. Yeah, Will never figured out how to shoot free throws. I think he was like too strong, right? Or like at least that's like the urban legend. Kareem Lopez vid is definitely going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I promise it's going to happen. Probably going to do an immense video at some point. I'll probably do a Phylon and a Sturts. I don't know if I'll do another Sturts video because I did a Sturts video cover. But anyways, thanks everyone. Have a good night. Kareem easily top 10 at the moment to me, but not sure how high yet. We were talking about that a bit earlier, but see y'all.